Yes, I'm coming up on the 1 year anniversary of owning the Rivian, and I wanted to give my thoughts on a couple things. And one of those was what's going on with RJ and Rivian and everything that they've got going on. The also e-bike, because I used to do a lot of e-biking, if those who haven't seen my channel would know. And that's a new fun toy we'll get into later. That's for another video. So please do subscribe and go through. Why don't I just key in my passcode here? Hopefully nobody saw that. We'll edit that out. Yeah, so first, let's get started with what's going on with Rivian. And I'd say the struggles are running into. Obviously, there's been some challenges, some economic, that is not opening, some economic challenges as well. So I wanted to give my 2 cents, and I'd be curious, it's annoyingly loud, I'd be curious to hear what some of the other, like employees even, would think that worked at Rivian or that were laid off. Here's what I noticed from an outsider perspective. I did work in the Bay Area for a while, and I did work, I've worked in Irvine. So I know the locations they're at. I know Palo Alto, and I know Irvine, the most expensive places to live. And I think that RJ and that leadership are kind of addicted to the look of being successful. And I get it, that's got to be quite intoxicating, but you need to earn it. You need to be in a position where you can really afford it. To start out of the gate at Irvine or Palo Alto, and in their case, both, I just don't think it's a strong strategy. You were given millions and billions of dollars, and you're just blowing it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I know they recently got a new, I believe, finance person. Hopefully that's helping. But to me, if I were leading Rivian, I would rather relocate. So I keyed this into ChatGPT, and I said, if you were to relocate offices from Palo Alto and Irvine and relocated to where they are in Normal, Illinois, how much money could Rivian save? Don't just take my word for it. Key it in yourself into ChatGPT or whatever your AI of choice happens to be, and find out what it says. What I noticed is it said, hey, guess what? We would probably save somewhere around $100 million a year. And that's nothing to sneeze at. So there you go. If you can't, as they say, you cannot win the race if you're not willing to go to the starting line. You can't just be at the finish line and expect you're going to stay there if you haven't done all the hard work to make that happen. Great car, other than the accessory plug, which still needs to be fixed, by the way. I don't like that design. But other than that, if you look past it, it's an incredible vehicle. However, again, I don't think they don't act desperate enough. They're not making the right decisions to actually want to succeed. And until you see someone like that actually say, listen, instead of letting people go, especially as the leader, he's willing to just let people go than to actually relocate, do something more aggressive. Show that you care, show the people. And not only that, something like that it really would help their brand. They're trying to be the whole, like, we want an adventure vehicle, you get out there, we're about the environment. It's about people too, isn't it? And that's something that they should seriously take a look at. So RJ, I think people would respect you more if you did something like that. I do think it would make a massive difference. It wouldn't be, giving up. It would show you care. And that, my friend, is going to make a massive difference. The other thing I want to call out again for the R2 that I brought up in a prior video, if you guys don't release that thing at the base level to start, I don't think you're going to make it, because the cost of the high-end vehicle, the launch vehicle, whatever you're going to call it, if it ends up costing that much, it's maybe what, 10 or 20,000 less than your other vehicle. People aren't going to have that kind of coin. Think about the way things are going right now. They're not going to have that kind of available income. And on top of it, my experience, although I really love, even today, driving the vehicle to the store, not very exciting, but we did. It's quiet, it's efficient, the off-road capabilities, so many things. It's just a great vehicle, but the infrastructure still needs to be worked on. That is something that definitely all major companies need to be working on, additional infrastructure. We definitely need electric in this world. It makes a huge difference. If you think about all the electric vehicles, if you were just to snap your fingers and suddenly now they were all gas, how much more damaging that would be to the environment. So it's a good thing that we've got them. And I do think they're here to stay. But they better, bringing back to the price, they better start bringing the prices down. And I think when they launch that vehicle, it would simplify it on top of it and make it less complex. Start simple and just kind of keep working that. You need, again, you guys need to earn it. So do me a favor. You need to move. That's your first thing. And I bet you dollars to donuts, they'll go bankrupt before they want to move. And the second part is they need to come in and whatever they release, the new R2, R whatever, that thing's got to be affordable, legit affordable. Don't just say coming in at 45,000, but the launch edition that is available is 65. It just makes zero sense, guys. So I wish you luck, but I don't think they're going to make it because I don't think they're willing to move. Now let's talk about that also, e-bike. I've done a lot of e-biking on my channel. That's how I kind of started it actually. And it looks like the design to me looks like an e-bike that should have been released 15 years ago. It looks kind of really orthopedic to me. Super obvious that it's an e-bike, which I don't think is a good thing. Personally, if I had that kind of money, I would have made the stealthiest e-bike you could possibly get in the consumer market. That's the thing that's gonna rock because people don't get all freaked out or edged out. And that happened to me a lot. They didn't like e-bikes. That's not something they like to see on the trail. So you don't want it to look like an e-bike, in my opinion. I also, beyond the looks of it, coming in at a price of $4,500, it's like, what the hell are they thinking? I'm sorry, that just does not make any sense at all to me. It's a lot of tech people losing their jobs lately. It just seems like the worst timing to be coming out with something like that. It doesn't make sense. If they had something that was modular, maybe they could come up with something that had a different pricing tier. But the tier they're starting with is $4,500 and it looks like an e-bike. I don't see it. I don't think that's gonna survive. That to me is kind of a do-over in my opinion. So many e-bike companies have come and gone. And that again, it looks like a whole dated concept. Why RJ has to get involved in something like that, I have no clue. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. But that to me is not impressive at all. It's kind of interesting, but it's nothing I crave. When I see it, it just kind of looks weird. Not in a good way, not like in the Rivian, the way they have their headlights. That's kind of different, weird you could say, but in a cool way. But that always bike just looks bad. So guys, I don't know, man. I don't know where Rivian's heading, but overall, it's a little concerning. What do you think? Leave a comment. Thank you so much. Y'all have an amazing weekend. We'll see you. Bye.